Hi, Dr. Kevin Polk here again, just with a quick video on a wild topic here called ontology. Yeah, bring that word up at a party and see what fun times you have. Only kidding. You'll oftentimes hear it as ontological. Ooh, and if you think that's bad, what do we do? A, meaning not ontological. Oh my God. And yes, if you wonder why, I don't know if you're probably not wondering this at all, but this psychological flexibility model, this functional contextualism, this relational frame theory stuff is a-Ontological. And you go, oh my goodness, what in the poor man talking about? Well, ontology is nothing but really sorting people and things and stuff into categories. And then you're quickly going to say, but Dr. Polk, you'll have people do sorting. That's right, but I have them do sorting into a-Ontological, no category. Watch it and do the sorting and you'll see you're really not sorting into a real category. Little trick that we use. And so, but that's categories. You say, well, that doesn't mean anything. It does. Most everybody by now in their point in life have heard of the DSM. Right now we're at the 4. That's the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for Mental Disorders. We're at DSM-4, soon to be coming out as I write and speak this with DSM-5 coming up. And that's categorizing people according to symptoms and such into categories. And there's all kinds of categories, and you know, girls and boys, and platypuses, and penguins, and birds, mammals, circles, squares. You get the idea. Ontology. Well, it's all based on language. Remember this language stuff? RFT, relational frame theory, relating gets down here into language, and here's the language. And so it's really people coming up with language, even scientists coming up with language in order to sort everything, all people, all things, all atoms, quarks, things, all everything into the right category. And if you just work hard enough, you'll get everything into the, here comes that word, right category. And then I guess a miracle occurs and things are all better. Nothing wrong with doing all that stuff. We're not saying that. Tons of good stuff have come from that. But when it comes to finding workable behaviors for valued living, ontology can get in the way. And people start saying, well, this is the right behavior and this is the wrong behavior. Well, except for maybe murder and some stuff like that. Behavior is really contextual, correct? That is, walking in one context is the right move, and walking isn't a toward move, I should say, and walking in another context is an away move, and it changes, and maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong, and it's very contextual, and it gets nebulous. And so rather than have arguments about how to sort this nebulous contextual behavior that changes over time, or the function of it changes over time, the smart people like Steve Hayes and such and other people of history came up with this a-Ontological view, saying, well, we're not worried about separating people into categories and things into categories. We're going to instead look at the function of behavior. That is, what's the purpose of the behavior in the moment? And the only person that really knows that, or can at least get a good guess at that, is the person doing the behavior. Now, the rest of us can look at the behavior and guess. But nevertheless, even if we're doing it, we're taking this a-Ontological view because we're saying, well, does that look like a workable behavior for valued living? Or does that look like not such a workable behavior for not valued living? And that's what we're doing. And so we're not, ontology simply means categorizing, using just the right words to categorize people into just the right pigeonholes. And there's lots of parts of life where that's very important. But when it comes to finding workable behaviors for valued living, the workability runs out. And instead we just say, well, let's look at let's look at the function of a behavior in its context. And we won't worry about diagnoses and stuff like that. We're just going to look at the function of a behavior. So that's what a little bit about ontology and a-Ontology, ontological and a-Ontological. Bye bye now.